Don't you love farce? My fault.
Born into a Catholic Italian family under the name Bernadette Bernadette Peters got her start in show business with the encouragement of her mother, landing her stage debut and equity card at the age of 9. After several small features on television, shortly after, at age 13, Bernadette joined the touring company of Gypsy as Baby June, a show she would later return to many years later. Today, Peters is known to be the premier interpreter of the work of Stephen Sondheim, and as an accolade to her many accomplishments both on stage and on screen, at age 47 became the youngest person to ever be inducted into the Theater Hall of Fame. Most recognized for her distinct voice, petite figure, and ageless beauty, Peters has not always been given credit for her enormous amount of versatility she has shown over the course of her career. Considering herself a late bloomer, both in her personal and professional life, Bernadette did not find large success in the early part of her stage career. Mainly starring in off-Broadway productions, she was often the silver lining in many ill-reviewed off-Broadway shows. With the exception of James at Sea, which won her Drama Desk Award in 1968, her other endeavors, including an adaptation of Federico Fellini's La Strada, The Penny Friend, a Shirley Temple parody Curly McDimple, all had short runs. Eventually, she made her Broadway debut with Johnny No Trump in 1967 and won a Theatre World Award for her portrayal of Josie Cohen in the musical George M. alongside Joel Grey. She went on to do a revival of On the Town to mixed reviews and flop about silent film star Mabel Normand Mac and Mabel. Despite the two shows' mediocre success, they won her first couple Tony nominations. Shortly after, she took a break from the stage and moved to Los Angeles, often landing supporting roles in films such as Ace Eli and The Roger of the Skies and The Longest Yard. She was eventually showcased for her comedy Monty Python silent film, gaining her Golden Globe Award nomination, which was shortly followed by The Jerk in 1979, written by and starring her then-boyfriend Steve Martin. Teaming up again in 1981, Martin and Peters starred alongside each other again, this time in musical Pennies from Heaven about a schoolteacher during the Depression who escapes her bleak circumstances with a series of whimsical musical numbers.
Love is good for anything that ails you. Baby, there is nothing love can't do. Love is good for anything that ails you.
This performance won Peters the Golden Globe in 1981. Among her moderate list of movie features, she has most notably appeared in a featured role in movie musical Annie alongside Carol Burnett, as a leading lady in Slaves of New York, Heart Beeps, The Muse in Woody Allen's Alice, and their romantic comedy about composer Frédéric Chopin, Impromptu in 1991. Peters also made several television appearances, including for her Emmy Award nomination on The Muppet Show, The Carol Burnett Show, and television movies including David, The Last Best Year, Terrence McNally's The Last Mile, and highly rated television movie Cinderella as the evil stepmother. After 10 years in LA, Peters came back to Broadway, this time embarking on her soon-to-be lifelong partnership with the work of Stephen Sondheim. Peters played painter George Sirrett's model and mistress Dot in James Lapine's and Stephen Sondheim's Sunday in the Park with George at Playwrights Horizon before moving to Broadway in 1984 and winning the show Pulitzer Prize and Peters another Tony nomination. Shortly after, she won her first Tony Award and another Drama Desk Award for her portrayal of Emma in the Andrew Lloyd Webber hit Song and Dance. It wasn't long before Peters portrayed another iconic Sondheim character. In 1987, Peters agreed to take on the supporting role of the witch in Sondheim's Into the Woods, which won her a Drama Desk Award. After appearing in Flop, The Goodbye Girl, and winning a Tony nomination regardless, Peters won her second Tony Award in the 1999 revival of Irving Berlin's Annie Get Your Gun, filling Ethel Merman's role of Annie Oakley. In 1996, she married investment advisor Michael Wittenberg, who unfortunately passed away in a helicopter crash 9 years later. Peters also recorded 6 solo albums, including one under the name Sondheim, etc., and holds 3 Emmy Award nominations. At the turn of the century, Peters revisited her first professional job starring in the Broadway revival of Gypsy in 2003, this time as Mama Rose, nominated for a Tony for her portrayal of the iconic role previously played once again by Ethel Merman. Her performance of Rose's turn at that year's Tony was a testament to the versatility and commitment she exuded as a performer, but perhaps stunted by audiences' views of her as adorable and Cupid doll-like, she did not win the award. Bernadette's love for Sondheim's music has transcended through the years. In 1976, a young Bernadette Peters performed the song Send in the Clouds as part of a feature on the Christmas special episode of the Sonny and Cher show. 34 years later, she would play the role in its original context as Desiree Armfeldt in Sondheim's Little Night Music at age 62. A year later, she would go on to play Sally Dern Plummer in the 2001 revival of Sondheim's Follies. Her most recent credit, occurring almost 5 decades after her initial Broadway debut in 1967, would be as Dolly Gallagher Levi in the 2018 revival of Jerry Herman's Hello, Dolly. Following once again in the footsteps of Ethel Merman and the likes of Pearl Bailey, Mary Martin, and Donna Murphy, Bernadette was the replacement for Bette Midler in the iconic role. Through my research on Bernadette Peters, I am extremely inspired by her ability to transcend the boxes that people have previously put her in and ingeniously give new life to roles of an iconic nature, each as unique and true to herself as the last. She's a true image of a strong woman in the theater, and she has had a career that has lasted an entire lifetime and successfully changed the perception of the roles she played to fit her unique gifts without ever losing sincerity to the stories.